Have you ever stopped to wonder how you can binge watch an entire series in HD, or how your phone somehow holds thousands of photos? Well, there's this incredible hidden trick working behind the scenes. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the unsung hero of our digital lives: compression. Okay, let's get into it.
So really, what is this trick? What's the secret sauce that lets us zap massive files across the world in seconds, or carry entire music libraries around in our pockets? It all boils down to one single powerful idea. And that idea is compression. At its heart, it's a really simple concept. It's just the process of representing the exact same stuff, but using less space, fewer bits. Think of it like this. You're packing a suitcase. You've got all your clothes, but if you roll them up real tight, you can fit everything into a much smaller bag. Same clothes, less space.
And why should you care? Well, it's everywhere. Smaller files mean you can cram more photos and apps onto your phone. They also transfer way faster over the internet, which is literally the only reason services like Netflix or Spotify can even exist. It saves everyone bandwidth, time, and money. Honestly, our digital world would grind to a halt without it.
But here's where it gets interesting. Not all compression is the same. When we decide to shrink a file, we have to make a choice between two totally different approaches, two different ways of thinking about our data. We call them lossless and lossy.
Let's go back to that suitcase. Lossless compression is like being a super careful packer. You perfectly fold every shirt, every pair of pants. When you get to your destination and unpack, everything is there, 100% identical to how it started. Lossy compression? That's more like looking at your suitcase and saying, you know what, I probably don't need all 3 pairs of those bulky shoes. You leave some stuff behind on purpose to save a ton of space. The main outfits are still there, but some pieces are gone, permanently.
Okay, so let's really break down the differences here. As you can see, with lossless, you get every single bit of your original data back. Think of a zip file or a PNG image. The quality is perfect, untouched. The downside? The file size is only going to get so small. Now, lossy is a different game. It permanently removes data. You might lose a little bit of quality, but in return, you get these incredibly small file sizes. And that is exactly why we use things like JPEGs for photos and MP3s for music.
So if you remember one thing today, make it this. Compression is always a trade-off. It's a constant balancing act between file size, speed, and quality. You're always negotiating between those 3 things. That's the big idea right there.
All right, let's look at our first specific method. This is a lossless technique called run-length encoding, or RLE for short. I like to call this one the perfectionist, because it absolutely refuses to lose even a single speck of information. The way RLE works is actually super simple, but it's really clever. Instead of writing out the same piece of information over and over and over again, it just says, hey, I see this thing, and it repeats this many times. That's it. It's fantastic for any kind of data that has long, repetitive streaks. Okay, so check this out. Here's our original data. We've got a string of letters, 5 A's in a row, then 4 B's, then 2 C's, a single D, and finally 2 more A's. Now, if you had to write that out, you'd write every single letter.
Now watch this. RLE transforms it. Instead of AAAAA, it just says 5A. Instead of BBBB, it's 4B. See what it's doing? It's the exact same information. Not a single thing is lost, but it's represented way more efficiently. That's the simple genius of run-length encoding.
So where does our perfectionist really shine? Well, it's great for simple graphics. Think about icons on your computer that have big, solid blocks of color. It's perfect for any data where you see a lot of repetition, and, most importantly, when you absolutely positively have to get the original file back exactly as it was.
But what if a perfect copy isn't the most important thing? What if getting a tiny file size is the real goal? For that, we need a totally different approach. Let's meet the pragmatist, a lossy method called transform coding. This one is willing to make smart sacrifices for the greater good.
Now this one's a little more complex, but the core idea is brilliant. It takes your data, say a photo, and instead of looking at every single pixel, it transforms it. It starts describing the photo in terms of broad patterns or frequencies, things like a large area of blue or a sharp edge here. Once it's in this new form, it can easily identify and just toss out the super tiny subtle details that our eyes or ears would never even notice.
So the process is simple. Transform the data, then discard the unimportant bits. It's designed to get rid of the stuff that has very little effect on how we actually see an image or hear a sound.
And this is the magic behind the formats you use every single day. We're talking JPEGs, MP3s, and all the movies you stream. For streaming media, small size is king, and transform coding is how you get there.
So now we know about the perfectionist and the pragmatist. The real skill is figuring out which one to use and when. It really is all about picking the right tool for the right job.
Okay, let's run a quick scenario. Imagine you're saving a super important legal contract. Every single letter, every comma has to be preserved perfectly. What do you choose, lossless or lossy?
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer, right? You have to choose lossless. There is zero room for error. You need to be able to get a perfect, bit-for-bit identical copy of that original file. You can't afford to throw any data away.
All right, scenario number 2. You just got back from vacation with 200 amazing photos. You want to upload them to share with your family, but you don't want it to take 3 hours. What's the better move here?
Here, Lossy is absolutely the winner. Getting those file sizes way down is the most important thing for quick uploads and easy viewing online. And let's be honest, a tiny, usually unnoticeable, drop in image quality is a trade-off pretty much everyone is happy to make. It's why your phone camera saves pictures as JPEGs by default.
So before we finish up, let's just bust 2 really common myths about compression, just to make sure we've got it all straight.
First up, this idea that compression always makes things look or sound worse. That is just not true. Only lossy compression reduces quality. Lossless methods, like our friend RLE, or just zipping a folder, will give you a perfect copy of your original data with absolutely zero quality loss.
And the second misconception, that you can always get your original file back no matter what. Again, not true. Once you save something with lossy compression, like making a JPEG, that data it threw away is gone forever. You can't get it back. Only lossless gives you that perfect round trip back to the original. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The next time you save a photo as a JPEG, or stream a song, or watch a movie, just take a second to think about that invisible trade-off that's happening. What tiny bits of quality, what imperceptible details are you choosing to give up for the sake of a smaller, faster file? It's that pragmatic choice, that hidden trick that keeps our entire digital world spinning. Thanks for tuning in.